Yes, sir! The sequel or spin-off to the legendary series is here after the people have spoken that they do not want my other content. Hey, it could be worse. I could be forced to play League of Legends or Clash Royale as a job. So we're going to be ranking lolcows based on how well they would be survivors in Dead by Daylight. Some people suggested killers, but while I did say that I thought some of them had prime asset energy in the last series, I thought realistically these guys are more suited to be victims. I also thought that it would be fun to brainstorm some ideas for perks for these guys, you know? I think it would be fun. This time we're going to be ranking them a little bit differently. We're going to be ranking them based on how many generators I think they could reasonably get done. With 0 generators meaning that they would be like an absolute horrid fucking survivor and probably your solo queue teammate. And 5 generators plus the gate basically meaning that they would probably be the best survivor in the game. The perks I brainstormed for them will not have any merit or ruling over their survivor ranking, strictly their lore only. Basically, the perks are just for fun. I tried to keep these homebrew perks to like one really good all-around perk, another really bad perk, and just sort of like a situational niche perk. Another thing I will not be taking into account is their real-life athleticism. I know a lot of these guys probably can't run very far or very fast, but most survivors in Dead by Daylight could like run a fucking mile and they would not break a sweat at all. Also, quick disclaimer, I do not want any violence to be inflicted on these people in real life. This video is pure fiction and meant for fun. Any wrongdoings or illegal actions should be investigated by the proper authorities. Alright, let's get into it. You can't have a lolcow compilation video without mentioning Chris Chan. Everyone knows who he is, so I'm just gonna assume y'all know at least 60% of his lore, or at least have heard of him. Don't worry, this time I won't forget that he did try to hit the owner of the game place with his car and try to pepper spray someone like I did in my very first lolcow video. Chris is one of the oldest and most famous lolcows on the internet. While I don't find his newer lore interesting, he is still a pillar of the internet and trolling lolcow community. Here's some of the perks I thought of for him. First perk, don't call anybody. When Chris completes a certain amount of generators progress, he can go into a locker to craft a pepper spray, kind of like flashbang. However, pepper spray, unlike flashlights, you can aim it like a flashlight, but it doesn't blind the killer, it only stuns them. And it's a one-time use only, but it's instant. So, like, you have to get the killer within a very specific distance from you, and it interrupts their main swing. So, that way, like, you know, like, if they're mid-swing and they would have gotten a hit on you, instead, they get stunned. Of course, you have to time this perfectly, and I don't really expect high use out of this perk, because we all know Survivor mains in Dead by Daylight, bro. Like, come on. Come on, dude. Like, oh, man. This game, dude, it's so cooked. It's so cooked. It's so Survivor-sided. Also, it doesn't proc Champion of Light, because that would be fucking busted. His second perk is called Off the Internet. When the killer gains an aura read on you, that aura is not revealed for 30 seconds at tier 3. The killer will still eventually gain aura, but it's like delayed aura, so it's showing your past actions within 3 seconds. So it's not like, it just adds like a delay to aura. Honestly, again, this is one of the bad perks. Why have aura delay when you could just have off the record or something that just completely removes your aura? I thought of this perk mainly as a way to reflect Chris's relationship with the internet. He'll never truly get off the internet, especially with recent news of him. He kind of disappeared, but we still get little bits and bobs of information about him, with dedicated Christorians tracking his every move with imperfect information. His last perk is, I'm here, and y'all are there. When Chris's aura is red, other survivors can see his aura, and Chris can see the aura of other survivors. Yeah, this is more of a solo queue perk. Won't be delayed by previous perk. Probably his worst perk, alright, in solo queue. Chance Wilkins is one of my favorite lolcows, mainly from how much of a degenerate he is, and the fact that he is uncomfortably local to me. That just makes him all the more fascinating. He's 35 years old, living with his grandma and step-grandfather, Sally and Ed, and tried to talk to underage fellers. The little guy has been hailed as the next Chris Chan, since he doesn't really seem to learn his lesson, and a lot of his lore and behavior mirrors Chris Chan's. Cyraxx's first perk is called Tink Tink Tink. When you stun a killer with a pallet, this perk gains a token for a max of 4 tokens. When 4 tokens are on Tink Tink Tink, the perk activates. Next time you would stun the killer with a pallet while the perk is activated, the killer is stunned for an additional 5 seconds. Afterwards, this perk becomes disabled again. This only applies to pallets, so no, you cannot use a flashlight to get tokens from this. Honestly, pairing this up with a perk like Smash Hit would be fucking monstrous. You pretty much just ended the chase. His second perk is Your Turn, Cutie. When you accidentally fail a skill check, there is a 25% chance that the explosion will occur on a different random generator. I don't know, it's not good, just don't fail skill checks. His last perk is, At least I turned up! When you gain exposure or would have exposure applied to you while running at a killer, this perk activates. While the perk is activated, you cannot be downed in one hit, so it basically just negates the expose effect. This might be a bit overpowered, but you know what, whatever, it doesn't really matter. I would give Cyraxx 4 generators. I'm gonna assume that the entity doesn't have to upscale or downscale a lot of the survivors, so he would definitely be the shortest out of all the survivors and the smallest, making him very easy to hide. Burger Andy is possibly the most pathetic man I have ever seen in my life. From orbiting around Ice Poseidon just to boost his viewer base and not being able to take their crap, to crying over a haircut. Burger Andy has proven himself to be one of the most sensitive men on the internet. Now, I know people might be thinking that I'm being a bit harsh, but like all lolcows, you can always find something to justify cruelty towards them for entertainment. You see, Burger Andy used to drop by bars in New York and harass the women there. Keep in mind, this was before hypergamy wreaked havoc on the dating market, so he couldn't at least be a sympathetic villain, you know, stealing bread to feed your family and all. Andy has been banned from multiple bars for harassment, with even one bouncer recognizing him years after the incident that got him banned. Burger is most definitely a character, but let's see his perks. Honestly, there's not a lot of them. I couldn't think of a whole lot, honestly. His one and only perk that I actually thought of was called I Ate a Worm. When exit gates open, the exit timer is extended by 20 seconds as long as you remain in the trial. When all generators are powered, you may unlock the hatch to trigger the endgame timer early. Screw your teammates. This perk is ass. I really couldn't think of anything else. If you guys have any ideas for Burger Andy, put them in the comments. I'd love to see them. And also subscribe if you haven't already. I had to reinstall Dead by Daylight to get the gameplay of this video, and this game is fucking booty cheeks. The White Bowser, also known as Earl Doobie, is a 30-year-old Redditor who attempted to make it big on YouTube using multiple different methods, such as PMVs, also known as pony music videos. He was brought to the internet's attention for trying to start drama with Smokey MC and Kiwi Tapes, 2 lolcow commentators who accuse anyone who criticizes them for defending predators, even though you can think their content is trash and also condemn being a predator. Anyway, the White Bowser is known for being a bit of a creep, much like our boy Burger Andy. However, the White Bowser leveled up the degeneracy, and instead of just verbally harassing grown-ass women in bars, instead he would do something involving a coworker who was 17 at the time. He would detail this incident in this Reddit post, and I'm 100% dead serious about this, by the way. He titled it, "The Day My Life Turned Into an Anime." This guy is such a fucking dweeb, bro. He is also a big fan of Towawa on a Monday, an anime about a high school anime girl with gigantic, unrealistic bazonkers being in a relationship with questionable age dynamics with a Japanese businessman. Japan, are y'all alright? Like, do we need to have a talk? His first perk is, are you fucking done? When the killer is chasing you, it takes longer for them to get bloodlust by like 5 seconds at tier 3. This honestly may break the game. Selective outing. If you have 2 hook states on you, this perk activates. While this perk is active, you gain 25% haste for the rest of the trial. The ultimate anti-tunnel perk. His last perk is called Public Apology. Decreases the sound of your grunts by 85% when injured. When you fail any skill check, your aura is revealed to the killer. Yeah, perk sounds okay, I guess. I'm gonna give Bowser 5 generators done with a coin flip on the hatch or exit gates. Even though Earl isn't the sharpest tool in the shed, he does have the balls to criticize Kiwi Tapes and Smokey MC. Even though he had to make stuff up to do that, when, you know, they could just point out that their content is repetitive slop that just rips information off of Kiwi farms. He has shown that he has resilience and grit to survive with little to no shame. Like telling veterans to delete themselves if their PTSD was really that bad. And that's all 4 of the lolcows I have for this video. This may also turn into a series, a spin-off series if it does well. So hit subscribe, like, and if you're on mobile, don't forget to hype the video too. I had to reinstall Dead by Daylight to play it again for the background footage of this video. So I feel like the least you could do is like, at least. Since this fuck-ass survivor-sided game, bro. I fucking hate this game, bro. I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man. All I wanted to do was play Unknown and maybe have a good time, and maybe have a good game. I hate this game. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, and comment any other lolcows you want me to do for the next video. And I'll see you then!